bringing you the most sought-after, up-to-date, non-duplicated views affecting tomorrow's corporate world. Macquarie Rens and Art Television presents CEO Network, the premier business networking platform and discussion forum.
It is through the strong public-private partnership and institutional framework that lay a good foundation for inclusive economic growth and the poverty reduction. And this is absolutely essential, and we still fail to see this partnership is blossoming, the public-private partnership blossoming for creating inclusivity, creating growth and creating development. So the wealth creation is absolutely a science when it comes to private sector. I'm sure that most of you are very familiar with that. But wealth distribution is an art. The wealth accumulation for social progress is absolutely need of the hour in this country. The responsible global entrepreneurs take accountability for sharing the economic benefits to enrich the societies which they live in. And we are living in a larger canvas. If the canvas is weak, our business also will collapse. We have to make our canvas strong for us to stand in. The sustainable business depends on the success of the transfer of economic benefits to the transformed societies where the businesses thrive in. The great entrepreneurs like Warren Buffett, the Bill Gates, who have learned the science of wealth creation and now mastering the art of wealth distribution of the wealth they have accumulated. In fact, Warren Buffett, 95% of his wealth has been given back to the society. Only 5% he has kept for his family. We have number of different stages of the corporate levels. All about the business DNA and the stages of social and for environment transformation. If you look at the corporates, evolvement of corporates, many people many times talk about the corporate greed. And of course, most of the corporates in the earlier times, even now, when you have a stronger corporate greed, you always want to have certain decorations to defend that, and you have defensive program, and those programs also relating to certain social and economic engagement. We also see some of the corporates involved in philanthropy and charity in order to kind of showcase their social commitment. And sometimes we see also marketing and promotional aspect also brought in development of social development. Then we have management level stage development, where strategically you partner with the society and the environment. But then finally what is needed is the responsible corporate that bring transformation. Now I just want to give you examples. I don't want to take Sri Lankan examples, but international examples. The corporate greed. In fact, the Lehman Brothers have won for a number of consecutive years the best corporate social responsibility awards. And they have been recognized globally, but hiding that, they had the absolute corporate greed. In order to hide the corporate greed, they had the social kind of responsible initiatives, but underneath was the corporate greed, and finally we know what happened to Lehman Brothers. The world's largest philanthropic organization is the Rockefeller Foundation. John Davison Rockefeller, who founded the company called Standard Oil, was giants in the industry. But in the year when the company was started, the way the track record of this man was lot of questions about the way he started his business. In fact, US Supreme Court ruled in 1911 the Standard Oil Company, founded by him, to be dismantled because it violated the federal antitrust laws. The way they earn the money, there are a lot of question marks even today, though they are the largest philanthropic foundation. In fact, they have built the University of Chicago. But the way they earn the money, killing the competition, killing the various other things that took place at that time, even now, there's a lot of suspicion of what they have done. Then this organization. Ladies and gentlemen, Enron won 6 consecutive years the Best Corporate Social Responsibility Award. They also won by the the Environmental Authority of US, CSR Award for Climate Protection. They won the Best Corporate Conscious Award by the Council of Economic Priorities. And you know what happened to Enron? They were really promoting marketing and doing social responsibility to cover up all what they were doing. And that's not sustainable. Then my fourth example is Starbucks. They were very strategic in their social responsibility for their business sustainability. They financed the coffee farmers in Latin America, in Africa, for their livelihood development. But they are not looking at the overall other stakeholders. But they are very strategic when it comes to their business. They finance the farmers. They bring livelihood development of the African and Latin American farmers, coffee farmers. But we have to move from that to this level. The responsible and transformation. And you know about Grameen Bank, Muhammad Yunus, who started. And globally, this is now an institution that really brings transformation to the lives of people and graduate many hundreds and thousands of people out of poverty and to become micro entrepreneurs, and from micro entrepreneurs to small and medium entrepreneurs, and they are building entrepreneurs, whether it's women, whether it's young people, whether it's elders, and this is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the first get rich, then get generous is not an option now. And that's what a lot of people think. First you get rich and then be generous is not an option, because the society is demanding that your business be transparent and sustainable, and you also want your business sustainable. Corporate social responsibility should be in the business DNA, not just a feather in your cap, not just winning an award from a function, but to make sure that it is part of the business DNA. The creating economic ecosystem is for greater business sustainability is absolutely essential. The developing economic capabilities of all segments. If you look at Sri Lanka, the corporate sector, we as a private sector, need to take initiative to develop all the segments of our society. Because if one segment is marginalized, and at that point, you would see many initiatives that come from that segment to challenge our existing businesses. I remember in 1989, some of my colleagues from HNBC here earlier, when in 1989-88 youth uprising was taking place, I remember Mr. Vijay Tilaka told me, when you move into bring this microfinance program and branching out, he says, leave alone as a business thriving, our sustainability is at stake if you don't move into rural areas, and if you don't bring inclusion to the youth, and if you don't create this platform for the country's rural population, our business sustainability is challenged. And that's where from 28 branches, HMB went up to 250 branches, initiated two of the major programs, the Gamipubudua and Pathumimana, to bring inclusion to. Of course, that took about nearly 10 years, a break-even point. And I think that's where the corporates will have to look beyond 1 year balance sheet, sometimes to 3 year balance sheet, 4 year balance sheet, and 5 year balance sheets in order to have great success. Today, HNB is thriving on this microfinance program because that created a feeder program for SMEs and commercial, because of the vision that he had at that time to go beyond 1 year balance sheet to a 10-year balance sheet. Customer segment-centric product innovation, absolutely critical. Diversity of players in different shapes and sizes of business that facilitate demand-driven products and services based on availability, accessibility, and affordability, absolutely important. An economic ecosystem that educate, protect, empower all segments of the society. And I think it's important to corporates to educate their customers on their products and services. And the consumer protection is absolutely critical for long-term business sustainability. conducive economic environment and regulatory mechanism, again, we need to have in this country. Using technology channels, the competition for scale and efficiency, absolutely essential. We are talking about so many development in technology, and except 2 or 3 mobile phone operators like Dialog and Mobitel, and we want to find out whether other corporates have used their technology channels and competition for scale and efficiency. The business sustainability depends on the strength of the society and the environment. Sometimes we forget that we are standing on a larger canvas. If the canvas is weak, our business also will collapse. If the canvas is breaks, our business is also standing on the canvas will collapse. So we need to strengthen the canvas. We need to strengthen where we are standing, because that's where we are making our money. And that's essential, absolutely. Overarching social chain that demands private sector corporates have a business mindset with a social development consciousness. And that is absolutely critical. Your business mindset has to be with a social development consciousness. The increased emphasis on sustainable results and the measuring the impact is absolutely. The focus on scale and affordability, how to find successful innovations that can proliferate widely to create greater social development and transformation. And this is something, ladies and gentlemen, our society demands, and it's rightfully theirs, because we are making money out of the society and the environment. And we need to give that return back to them. The creating economic wealth that have a social transformation, impact on social transformation. And in that context, we need to look at reconceiving our products and markets. Based on that, based on the economic value that will have an impact on the social transformation, based on that, we need to reconvince our products and markets. Redefining productivity in the value chain. We have number of corporates, we cannot work in isolation. You have number of value chain. And in that value chain, you need to work with number of partners. You have to ensure in the process of your partnering that you bring these dynamics into that. And also, we need to bring the commitment to the local industry cluster development. And that is absolutely critical. The social development conscious business mindset is absolutely, again, a challenging task ahead of us. We need to create value. The value creation has to go along with the economic development. We need to look at the economic development that we bring through our value creation, the corporates. And as I said very clearly, that we are a larger canvas. And everything what we do, every transaction we do, every business move we do, we need to make sure that there is value creation. And that value creation has to have an economic development as a bottom line, because that is where our businesses would be able to be sustained on the long term. The good governance, the institutional effect, and how effective we are as an institute, how effective we are we going to make hay while the sun shines? Are we going to look at our own business and get our approvals through the contacts and network we have? And that's exactly in this country. Sometimes some corporate think, okay, if I know so and so, if I get through that, my business will survive. I get all the deals, I get everything. But I think this is where our institutional effectiveness is challenged. It's not through your network, it's not your connection, it's not your deals, but it is the institutional sustainability that you have to look at on the long term. If your institution is not sustainable, you need to look at the good governance and that effectiveness. The social contribution to the stakeholder orientation. Now, the stakeholders is a very important thing. Now, any corporate will have, I would say, 5 stakeholders. Shareholders, the employees, the customers, society and environment. In the process of doing your business, you can't sacrifice one for another. You need to make sure that every stakeholder is taken care of. Your shareholders who invest the capital, the customers who tirelessly take your business forward, the customers who purchase your products and services, and the society that enrich your businesses and the environment that you stand on. And in the process of your doing normal business, you need to bring transformation to all the stakeholders. And I believe what happens is sometimes our sustainability is challenged when we only look after 1 or 2 stakeholders. Sometimes you look after the shareholders at the expense of employees, at the expense of customers, at the expense of the society, at the expense of the environment. And you do that, on the short term you gain, but on the long term there's a question mark for business sustainability. And that's why the stakeholder transformation is important, the stakeholder orientation is important. You look at the shareholders, of course they invest the capital and they need to be looked after on the long term. Not for 5 years, not for 10 years, but long term. There are many organizations who are standing for about 100 years because the long term commitment. So the stakeholder transformation orientation is absolutely critical. The employees has to be looked after. And unfortunately today, that is a sector which is again marginalized. Again, the customers also sold something which is substandard, not real standard. Despite all the standards and all the criteria, that's an issue that we have. So in the light of that, we also need to look at the ecosystem that our environment, our businesses are, and what kind of contribution that we make toward the ecosystem, and how much harmful activity initiatives. And today people are talking about green buildings, and I think sometimes the corporate sector is mixing their priorities. It's important to look at green buildings and invest in that, but if that priority is taken as a impact for your employees' priority, then you have issues there. So you need to make sure that in the process of your doing all your businesses, the social responsibility, environment responsibility is not a feather in your cap, but part of your business DNA. So the environmental integrity is absolutely important.
Bringing you the most sought after, up-to-date, non-duplicated views affecting tomorrow's corporate world. Macquarie Rents and Art Television presents CEO Network, the premier business networking platform and discussion forum.